Today on this video, I'm trying to answer a question. Why does our brains love problems? Have you ever thought about it? Why is that we gravitate towards problems? Why does it feel good? Like we deal with problems, we solve them, we feel good about them. But something about our brains that we love to be in this problem frame. Despite of knowing and despite of educating ourselves with everything around us, right? We are all very evolved individuals, but still we somehow, something about our brains that we attract problems. So I'm going to take a few minutes and talk about this. By the end of this video, if you believe that I did justice to this idea, to this thought, to this question, then by all means, please like the video, please share it with a few people who you think will benefit from this, okay? So that's it. Let's get into this. The root of all this has to do with our evolution as humans, where we started, and even though we have come a long way over thousands of years, we somehow still have this thing within us where we get into this weird situation. I shouldn't say weird. We are wired to scan problems, to detect problems. And somehow we think that we have to spot it, regardless whether they're going to that problem is going to hurt us or not. We have to spot it, and that have to part has to do with the way we evolved as humans. And back in the day, there was nothing. All we used to do was wake up and keep ourselves secured through constant problem detection. Back in the day, right, thousands and thousands of years ago, and that has continued. Now, what we have gotten ourselves into right now is that our brain will invent problems even if we don't have a problem. That's the scary part that we are in right now. We're going to invent a problem that we don't. As I'm recording this video, I just saw something that the AI server or wherever, I think this is an open AI, I'm not sure, but somewhere I read this, that the deployment of an open AI, whatever the instance or the server, was told to replicate itself. There was instruction to this installation to replicate itself, but then it ended up replicating itself beyond the boundaries. And when it was questioned, why did you replicate beyond the boundaries? It said, no, I did not. It lied. Okay. So we are at a stage where our intelligence, the AI intelligence or whatever, right, is getting, it's replicating itself. It's going to places, and I don't even know. I mean, here we are talking about brain and the problems, but then now we have artificial intelligence now doing crazy things. So we are in that era. Okay. So that said, why do we invent problems? Why can't we stay still? And why does our brain do that? As I said, it has to do with survival, the way we are wired for survival. If we don't create problems, we don't feel that we are living. So we invent problems and we try to solve them. Okay, so that's the survival wiring. Also, this has to do with the dopamine effect, the dopamine cycle. So it's a cycle where cyclically or at points, at certain intervals, we need to feel good in solving problems. So it gives the dopamine kick to the brain and we feel good about ourselves. Sometimes we are also caught up in this identity trap where we want to be seen as if we are solving problems. So multiple different things going on there within that space, why the brain creates or invents new problems all the time. So the cycle goes like this. There is a problem. You focus on fixing the problem. There is some temporary relief. Then the brain becomes empty. So we create an empty space. And now we have to go find a new problem to fill that empty space. And the cycle repeats. Okay. And if you have to deep dive into this, then there is also a social and reinforcement element to it. So if we do not talk about problems with each other, that means we cannot connect. So the social enforcement or the social reinforcement is that if you're not talking problems, then there is no social connection. So there is a society, the element of society also playing this. Um, this this also could be because of a mental habit. The mental habit is um, when the brain is trying to solve a problem, it feels that it's actually resting. Okay, it's like the brain thinks it's resting, which is very interesting. It feels like this is the downtime for me. Kind of, I'm vacationing right now, the brain. So let me go fix a few problems. Okay, it's funny how, as I said, some people they don't feel important enough. They don't feel valued enough in their own mind unless they go solve some problems. It's funny. So so how do you break this loop? Okay, how do you break this loop? The first and the foremost, it all starts with awareness. You got to catch um, when the brain gets into problem shopping mode. You got to catch, okay, why am I looking for problems? I already have a few that I need to resolve anyway, so why should I keep looking for new? So you got to stop the brain and you tell yourself, listen, everything is going to be okay, right? Whatever. So I have other issues that I need to solve. Let me focus there. Okay, starts there. So you replace that thought, the problem shopping thought, you replace that with a pursuit. The pursuit is, let me go acquire a new skill, or let me engage in an activity that raises my creativity, something along those lines. So you got to bring an element of pursuit into it. And then the third step is you force the focus. Okay, and you got to focus yourself on what is working already in your life. And let me spend time working as focusing on that which is already working, rather than going out and trying to figure out, how can I do something else, and then and try doing something else because this is already got it's already boring for me. I should be doing this. Maybe something new is going to give me a better dopamine or something like that, right? And then uh, one way to stop the loop is also to do what is called a delayed reaction, or create a delayed response. So let it, whatever the problem is, whatever you're perceiving, whatever the problem is, let it run its course. You sit before you fix. So you relax, you sit back, you say, okay, fine, okay, let's see. If it's a real problem, then that's fine. I'm going to get myself into the act. I'm going to fix it. But for now, let me relax. Right? You start. There are some other ways to do this also, but these are some of the most practical ways to deal. Like the most um, uh, like the most aware way to fix this problem is to catch this, build some awareness, catch it before the brain goes into shopping mode, and then replace that with a pursuit, force some focus on it, and then delay the reaction. Right? As simple as that. Um, uh, you know, over the years, and this has to do with my in my own house, I've seen this specifically with my dad. Is My father, at some point, I realized this, and I've seen this with a few more people now that I'm in this profession for a long time now. That some people fundamentally have what is called a cortisol addiction. They just want a little amount of stress in their system to feel good about themselves. So they're seeking stress. My dad worked in police, and he was always there. If there was something idle in his life, like for a day or two, that something is normal, like a normal individual's life, he was like, something is not right here. Okay, something is not right. I need to do something. Something is missing. And now when I go back and look into and knowing what I know now, when I look back, I see, he was addicted to cortisol. Now, once that stress was removed, once he retired, he was clueless. Now, everything went away. He was like, what I'm going to do now, right? So, couple of points from here. First and the foremost is you should not, um, uh, there is there is something, as a growing up as children, our parents and also our teachers used to say, hey, don't sit idle, keep on doing something, don't sit idle, don't time is a precious element, do not waste it. um, Knowing what I know now, I can relate to why they used to say that. So there is something called default mode network. And what it means is, this is the time where when you get into this default mode network, what you do is you get into, you start developing some thoughts where you're constantly ruminating. Maybe negative thoughts, maybe some thoughts that you cannot resolve, but you got to think about them. So this is also known as self-referential thinking. So you get into this self-referential thinking and you are ruminating constantly about some events in your life or something, and you're just feeling like whiling away the time. You got to be careful with this. And if you're seeking to create success and happiness, success or happiness or joy, all these things are pursuits. You got to get yourself into the mode where you are taking action, you are aligning whatever your activities are towards an outcome, big or small, doesn't matter, but there is an element of pursuit in them. Then you are not in this DBN format, you are not in the DBN mode. Okay, lesser ruminating thoughts, lesser self-referential thinking, better the quality of life is, better you make yourself little stronger and little bit less available to otherwise to the part of the brain which is looking for problems and scouting problems and looking for things to resolve. Yeah, we the way the brains, we all have what is called the amygdala's bias, where we are scanning for threats, and this is deeply rooted in our evolution. All that is there. But then there is also this part of you, the aware part of you, which can actually stop this, which can channel itself or regulate itself towards something that is meaningful and that has some tangible outcomes, and just engaging in that pursuit. Okay, if I keep talking, then I think I'll be rambling, but I hope I got this message across to you. That's not, there's no fun in sitting there and ruminating about things. Instead, you need to be focused and engaged in an activity that otherwise should create happiness, joy, and success for you. Okay. If this was helpful, do me a favor. If you press that like button, then I can reach some more people. If you subscribe to this channel, then I'll be in front of you every day, because that's my frequency at which I'm showing up right now on this channel. Okay. That's all for now. Wherever you are, you be safe, and I'll be with you as early as tomorrow. Bye now.